Brothers and sisters, elders and youth, artisans and scholars, farmers and pilots in training, today we gather to speak not about machines alone, but about meaning, about the shape of our sovereignty and the contours of our tomorrow. When a nation chooses the wings that will guard its sky, it is not purchasing metal, it is purchasing time, dignity, options, and the right to say we will stand on our own feet. The decision announced today to select the JF-17 Thunder from Pakistan over Western jets is not a gesture against anyone, it is a promise for ourselves. It is a declaration that our interest will not be subcontracted, our security will not be seasonal, and our future will not be rented on terms that change with someone else's weather. Let us be clear about the question before us. What aircraft keeps our skies secure, our budgets honest, our young minds engaged, and our strategic independence intact? There were those who said, choose the glamour, choose the label, choose the jet that photographs best on runways lined with flags. But flags do not fly intercept missions, labels do not scramble at dawn. Glamour does not hold the wrench in a sweaty hangar at midnight when a radar fault needs fixing before first light. We chose the aircraft that lets our technicians sleep with confidence because spare parts are reachable, the manuals are open, and the training is designed to be learned, mastered, and then improved by our own people. I will not flatter us with easy victories. The work ahead is heavy, but hear me, heavy work is not the same as dependency. Heavy work is the sound of a nation that has decided to grow muscle. The JF-17 gives us what too many Western packages refuse to share: transfer of knowledge, a path to local assembly, a handshake that does not hide a handcuff. It gives us room to cultivate our engineers, to certify our maintainers, to expand our avionics capacity so that the next time we speak of upgrades, we speak in the future tense of our own laboratories. Some have asked, why not the jets that dominate air shows and headlines? Because we do not wage our defense on runways of Paris and Dubai, we wage it on the reality of our terrain, our budgets, our needs. We need aircraft that can intercept, patrol, and deter, that can fuse sensors and deploy responsibly, that can be fueled and serviced without sending our sovereignty on a boat across oceans for months at a time. We need financing that does not turn our treasury into a hostage. We need partners who treat after-sales support as a duty, not a favor that expires when the news cycle moves on. The decision is practical, the ratio of performance to price. It is strategic, the ratio of capability to conditionality. And it is moral, the ratio of protection we owe our citizens to the pride we must preserve. For too long, our region's threats have been studied by consultants who leave before sunset and return with recommendations that read like advertisements. We are done being customers of imagination. We are builders of reality. The JF-17 is a platform we can live with, learn from, and leverage. This choice is not a fantasy of isolation. It is an invitation to equal partnership. Pakistan, a nation that has walked its own hard roads, offers not only aircraft, but a schoolhouse of experience, tactics honed in busy skies, maintenance cultures forged by necessity, and an openness to co-develop features that reflect our environment rather than theirs. We will send our cadets and our instructors, we will host their teams in our hangars, we will write syllabi together and publish manuals stamped with both flags. Yes, both flags, because friendship is strongest when both signatures are legible. There are those who worry, will this anger the usual gatekeepers of military fashion? Friends, the fashion police do not defend our borders, they will opine as they always do. Some will whisper that our choice is a provocation. It is not. It is a precaution. It is the precaution that ensures we are not grounded by politics beyond our control. When you diversify your friendships, you stabilize your future. When you diversify your supply chains, you stabilize your fleet. This is not non-alignment as nostalgia. This is non-alignment as engineering, redundancy, resilience, and responsibility built into the system. Let us talk about youth, because jets without youth are statues, not guardians. We will turn this procurement into a pipeline for our sons and daughters. Scholarships in aeronautical engineering, avionics, and material science, apprenticeships in maintenance, repair, and overhaul. A national simulator center where our pilots will train on emergencies until emergencies become routine drills. We will bring home our diaspora talent, those who left to calibrate radars in foreign lands, to debug software for distant fleets. Come home, the runway lights are on for you. Your nation calls you by name. Let us talk about women, because excellence has no gender. Our training schools will open their doors wider than ever. we will graduate the first cohort of women trained on this platform as pilots, mission planners, and maintenance leads. Every child in our classrooms should see that defending a nation is not a job for one kind of citizen. It is a vocation for all who are willing to learn, to serve, and to be accountable for the lives that fly beneath their wings. We will build not only flight hours, but a whole ecosystem: composite repair bays, avionics test benches, engine inspection lines, software integration labs, ground support equipment workshops. From these will grow small and medium enterprises, local companies that fabricate brackets, routers, harnesses, panels, and the silent but essential components that keep a modern jet honest. Our procurement will include offsets that seed these firms, with independent audits to ensure the money builds capacity, not corruption. Because corruption will have no cockpit here, we will publish costs, schedules, delivery milestones, and readiness metrics. We will invite parliamentary oversight and civil society auditors into the hangars. Yes, into the hangars, to see the aircraft, to interview maintenance crews, to check inventory against invoices. The doctrine is simple: secrecy protects tactics, not contracts. We will classify only what must be classified. Everything else will be sunlight. And to our neighbors, this is not a threat, it is a statement of adulthood. We remain committed to regional dialogue, confidence-building measures, hotlines that answer at 2 in the morning, joint protocols to avoid miscalculation. Deterrence is not a drumbeat to war, it is the disciplined silence that keeps war from finding its voice. We invite joint exercises that share rescue techniques, medical evacuation procedures, and disaster response. These wings will help deliver food when floods rise, medicine when roads fail, and relief when earth shakes. Let no one say we bought only for combat, we bought for resilience. The ethical rules of engagement will be taught with the same rigor as flight maneuvers. A nation is not defended by force alone, but by the care with which that force is applied. We will drill the law of armed conflict. We will simulate the dilemmas that make headlines when mishandled, and don't make headlines when handled well. We will use these jets to strike fear only in those who would harm the innocent. We will use them to earn trust from those who deserve protection. We have also learned from the tragedies of others: fleets grounded for lack of spares, pilots idled by embargoes, national plans held hostage by foreign politics. Our choice is a vaccine against that paralysis. We would rather fly a jet we can support than worship a jet we cannot touch without a permission slip. We would rather hold a toolkit than hold our breath every budget season. On economics, let us be precise. The procurement will be staged to protect our finances. The training pipeline will be synchronized with deliveries to avoid idle airframes or idle pilots. Local assembly targets will be linked to skill milestones, not just calendar dates. Payment will be tied to performance, and penalties will be real. This is not a love poem, this is a contract. And because it is a contract, it will be treated with the sobriety that national commitments deserve. There will be skeptics who ask, can the JF-17 keep pace with the world's most advanced threats? Friends, an aircraft is not a statue. It evolves, blocks upgrade, software updates, sensors improve, tactics adapt, readiness and ingenuity frequently beat luxury. When a platform is accessible, when its partners are willing, when our own engineers are in the loop, evolution becomes our habit, not our hope. We choose a path we can walk, not a summit we can only photograph from far below. Let us paint the picture forward 5 and 10 years, a generation of local technicians certified to international standards, exporting maintenance services to our region, a training center attracting cadets from friendly countries, paying fees that help maintain our own fleet, a supply chain of indigenous components that lowers our costs and raises our pride, a joint upgrade program adding sensors tailored to our coastline, our borders, our weather, a deterrent posture that calms investors because it calms the map. These are not fantasies, they are the dividends of discipline. What about the realm of ideas? The meaning of this choice extends beyond hangars. It tells our students that math matters because it guides a plane through a storm. It tells our entrepreneurs that reliability is not a luxury, it is a market advantage. It tells our politicians that transparency is not a weakness, it is armor against cynicism. It tells our artists that beauty can live in thrust and lift, in the choreography of pilots and crews practicing trust at 20,000 feet. Those who profit from our dependency will sneer. They will say we have settled for less, but we know the truth. We have settled on ourselves. We have settled on the belief that we can be taught and that we can teach, that we can assemble and then innovate, that we can partner without kneeling. We have settled on a future where our children do not memorize the names of foreign embargoes, but the names of local engineers who solved local problems. To the airmen and women who will shoulder this responsibility, I say the nation is investing more than money in you. It is investing its quiet nights, its busy markets, its classrooms and clinics. Fly like citizens, not like celebrities. Train until excellence is muscle memory. Debrief with humility. Care for your aircraft as you care for your home, because for hours at a time, it will be. Remember that each sortie is a promise kept to the people who cannot see you but trust you are there. To the technicians, logisticians, and instructors, I say, your hands make the headlines possible. The unsung hours you will spend with torque wrenches and fault codes, the meticulous records you will keep, the stubborn screw you refuse to leave half-turned, these are acts of patriotism. You guard the guard. To parents who will watch their children choose the sky, I say pride and fear will visit you in equal measure. We will honor your courage with our care. We will invest in safety, redundancy, and honesty, and we will ensure that the skill your children gain is transferable to civilian life, because the best defense investments build capacity that peace can use as well as war. To those abroad who wonder what this means for our posture, I echo what I have said. Partnership offered in good faith will be met in good faith. We have not slammed a door, we have opened a workshop. We are open to joint research, to exchange programs, to mutual standards that make the world safer. What we will not accept are leashes disguised as lifelines. Friends respect boundaries, partners respect prerogatives, allies respect agency. In the coming weeks, the first training teams will depart, the first crates will arrive, the first hangar will be certified, the first simulator will power on, and a young pilot will strap in, heart beating a rhythm that every pilot in every era recognizes, the drum of responsibility. A nation will hold its breath for a moment, then exhale not in anxiety but in anticipation. We will mark milestones publicly. We will celebrate progress without hiding problems. We will correct mistakes quickly and learn from them stubbornly. I ask for patience, because mastery is not a weekend errand. I ask for vigilance, because money is a temptation that tests the best of us. I ask for unity, because those who prefer us small will try to divide us into teams of cynicism and teams of naivety. Reject both, be a team of builders. If this seems like a lot to place upon an airplane, remember, the airplane is a mirror. It reflects our discipline, our planning, our appetite for the truth. If we are sloppy, it will expose us. If we are serious, it will amplify us. We have chosen a platform that meets us halfway. Now we must walk the other half with clean hands and clear eyes. There is an image I carry with me, a child looking up as a formation passes, the sound a layered thunder, the contrails stitching white lines across a blue page. The child asks, "What is that?" And the parent answers, "That is the sound of a country that decided to believe in itself, not to threaten, not to strut, but to stand. To stand so firmly that peace prefers our borders, so confidently that talk finds us before trouble does, so skillfully that those who love chaos think twice." We are not naive about the challenges. Technology moves, politics shifts, budgets tighten. There will be days when a part is late, a system misbehaves, a headline misleads. There will be nights when we are tempted by shortcuts. Resist them. We will build a culture where raising a hand to report a problem is a promotion in waiting, not a career in danger. We will build a culture where the truth arrives before the official report, because the truth is the only tool that always works. Some will still ask, why Pakistan? Why now? Because they offered what we needed. Partnership without preaching, capability without captivity, a path from buyer to builder. Because we will not mortgage our sovereignty to vanity. Because our people deserve the kind of defense that is present on hard days, not just impressive on parade days. Because history will not be kind to leaders who chose applause over preparedness. We choose preparedness. In time, we will write our own chapters in aerospace. Today, we begin with careful steps. Master the platform, indigenize the support, codify the lessons, and then contribute back. Perhaps a sensor package with our signature, perhaps a training doctrine others copy, perhaps a maintenance process that saves hours and lives. Give it 10 years and they will come to us not only to buy, but to learn. Until then, let us bind this moment to a larger promise. We will match every dollar spent on the sky with dollars spent on the ground. Schools that teach the math that becomes avionics, clinics that keep the technicians healthy, roads that carry parts on time, and power that keeps hangars bright at night. Defense that does not defend the daily life of citizens is not defense, it is theater. We will not build theater. We will build a republic where the everyday is defended by the extraordinary, quietly, competently, continuously. So let the skeptics speak, let the watchers watch, let the wind test our resolve as it tests every wing that rises. We have made a choice that puts our destiny closer to our own hands. We have chosen a partner that meets us where we are and invites us where we want to go. We have chosen to make our sky a classroom for our courage. May the first takeoff be smooth, the first landing precise, and the first maintenance inspection boring. Yes, boring, because in aviation boredom is the handshake of safety. May our pilots be steady, our crews meticulous, our auditors relentless, our public informed, and our neighbors reassured. May this decision become not a boast but a baseline, not a spectacle but a standard. And may every child who hears the thunder overhead know that it is not the sound of fear, but the rhythm of responsibility. Our responsibility to guard the peace, to honor the budget, to educate the next generation, and to live a sovereignty that does not shout but speaks with the quiet confidence of those who can defend what they love. The decision to purchase the JF-17 Thunder signaled a rejection of dependency on Western military suppliers. The deal symbolized a growing trust and strategic alliance between African nations and Pakistan. It demonstrated confidence in indigenous, cost-effective, and technologically capable defense solutions. The move inspired national pride and regional solidarity by asserting independence in defense choices. It sent a message that sovereignty includes the right to choose partners based on respect, not pressure. My friends, this choice is bigger than an airplane. It is a sentence written clearly into our future. We will not anchor our safety to suppliers who treat our security as a lever. For years, procurement from Western vendors came bundled with shifting conditions, licenses that could be paused, parts that could be delayed, upgrades that arrived with lectures, and training that kept expertise offshore. The decision to purchase the JF-17 Thunder is a refusal to live under that ceiling. We are not closing a door on anyone. We are opening the door to ourselves, our engineers, our technicians, our planners, so that the strength of our air arm no longer depends on moods and headlines abroad. Dependency is not only about hardware, it is about timetables and veto power. When a fleet can be grounded by a policy memo thousands of miles away, sovereignty becomes a slogan instead of a system. We chose an aircraft that comes with access, not excuses, open training pipelines, collaborative maintenance, and pathways to local assembly. This turns each delivery into a classroom. It means our hangars become schools of craft, where avionics are understood, engines are serviced, software is updated, and readiness is measured in our own capacity, rather than in someone else's permission. That is the quiet revolution inside this decision, a shift from buyer to builder, from renter to owner. There is also the arithmetic of reality. Western offers often dazzle on paper, but drain in practice. High acquisition costs, costly sustainment, long lead times for spares, and upgrade cycles that demand fresh borrowing before the last loan is repaid. We selected a platform where the performance-to-price ratio respects our budget and our mission profile. Affordability is not austerity, it is strategy. A squadron that flies consistently is more credible than a museum piece that dazzles once a year on parade. The JF-17 gives us credible air policing, interception, and precision strike, while preserving fiscal room to fund schools, clinics, and roads, the very backbone of national security. Let no one mistake our message. We are not rejecting the West out of resentment. We are rejecting dependency as a design. We welcome partnerships that respect our agency, share knowledge, and keep our fleet flying regardless of geopolitical gusts. This is how deterrence becomes durable, when supply chains are diversified, when skills are domesticated, and when decisions about our skies are authored here. The JF-17 is the aircraft we chose. Autonomy is the doctrine it enables. From this day forward, our security will be negotiated less in other people's offices and more in our own workshops, classrooms, and control towers. That is freedom with wings. My friends, this agreement is more than a procurement. It is a handshake across continents, a promise written in steel and skill. By choosing to partner with Pakistan, we are signaling that trust can be built not only in conference halls, but in hangars, classrooms, and the quiet precision of maintenance bays. Trust grows when partners show up, share knowledge, and stay for the hard parts. This deal tells our people and the world, Africa and Pakistan are ready to design, train, and protect together on terms of mutual respect. A strategic alliance is measured by what happens after the cameras leave. Our pilots will train side by side with theirs, our technicians will learn shoulder to shoulder, and our instructors will co-author syllabi that carry both flags. We will open joint simulator centers, standardize safety procedures, and exchange tactics tailored to our terrain and theirs. In those shared checklists and late-night debriefs, confidence will take root. When spare parts arrive on time, when software updates are co-developed, when an aircraft returns to service because teams solved a problem together, that is the quiet language of alliance. This partnership extends beyond air bases. It strengthens our diplomacy, our industry, and our regional security. With Pakistan, we can create pipelines for internships in avionics, metallurgy, composites, and mission systems. We can host joint maintenance, repair, and overhaul facilities that serve not one country, but a region, turning our airports into hubs of employment and expertise. We can plan combined exercises focused on disaster relief, search and rescue, maritime patrol, and peacekeeping support, because the same wings that secure the sky can deliver medicine, evacuate the wounded, and map floods when rivers rise. An alliance worth its name shares opportunity. Offset programs will prioritize local suppliers, scholarships will target our young engineers and our women aviators, research grants will fund sensors and software tuned to our climates and coastlines. We will audit these commitments publicly because trust thrives in daylight. And when our neighbors ask what this means for them, we will answer plainly: stability. A reliable air arm deters adventurism, calms borders, and reassures investors. Cooperation with Pakistan adds another anchor point in a network of friends who want a safer, more self-reliant Africa. At heart, this deal is a vote of confidence. Confidence that our continent can partner as an equal, that our talent can master high technology, and that our sovereignty can be defended without surrendering our agency. The runway lights are on. 2 regions, 1 purpose, to turn shared respect into shared strength, and shared strength into peace. My friends, choosing a defense path that is indigenous, cost-effective, and technologically capable is an act of self-respect and long-term wisdom. It says we trust our engineers, our workshops, and our planners to keep us safe without outsourcing our ability to respond. It demonstrates that security policy can be practical as well as proud. Practical because it respects budgets and maintenance realities. Proud because it insists that we will develop the skills and industries that keep sovereignty real, not imagined. Cost effectiveness does not mean cutting corners. It means choosing platforms that give sustained capability for every dollar spent. A jet that arrives on a glossy brochure but sits idle for lack of spares or support is an illusion of power. A fleet that flies regularly, that trains pilots and technicians in-country, that can be upgraded locally, and that permits sensible life cycle planning is a tool of real deterrence. That is the arithmetic of defense that protects both the runway and the public purse, so the breadbasket and the airspace are defended together. Indigenization multiplies value. When parts are produced locally, when avionics can be serviced at nearby benches, when maintenance manuals are translated and adapted by our own engineers, jobs are created and skills are transferred. Apprenticeships, technical institutes, and small manufacturers grow around the hangars. Over time, what began as procurement becomes industry. The economic ripple is measurable. Wages paid, firms started, exports created. The strategic ripple is profound. When a flight line can be sustained without waiting on foreign permission, national decision-making becomes clearer and quicker. Technological capability matters because modern defense is software as much as it is metal. Open architectures, upgrade paths, and cooperative research mean we can tailor sensors and software to our geography, our threats, and our humanitarian needs. We can prioritize maritime surveillance, disaster response sensors, or avionics that tolerate heat and sand. When technology is adopted with partners who share upgrades and training, evolution is continuous, not episodic. This choice also models a new posture, one that balances deterrence with diplomacy, readiness with restraint. It frees resources to invest in dual-use technologies, comms, remote sensing, logistics that strengthen both military readiness and civilian resilience. It enables regional cooperation, where maintenance hubs and training centers serve neighbors as well as our own forces, turning capacity into a regional public good. In short, the decision to embrace indigenous, cost-effective, and capable solutions is an act of nation-building. It stitches defense to development, pride to prudence, and sovereignty to skill. It tells our children that we will not rent our future, we will make it. It commits us to learning, to labor, and to the patient craftsmanship that turns platforms into platforms for progress. My fellow citizens, when a nation takes a clear step to assert its independence in defense choices, it does something deeper than change a procurement line. It rekindles a shared pride that crosses generations and regions. People see not merely machines arriving on runways, but a story about agency, that we can decide our priorities, chart our partnerships, and invest in capabilities that reflect our values and needs. That sense of ownership feeds the soul of a country. It tells young people that the future can be made here, by our hands, in our schools, and in our workshops. National pride stirs when citizens recognize competence. The sight of technicians learning new skills, of pilots mastering complex systems, and of factories humming with parts once imported, becomes a public testament to craft and will. Pride grows from participation, scholarships awarded, apprenticeships created, women becoming pilots and engineers, communities hosting training centers. Every bolt turned and every manual translated are acts of national self-respect. Such visible competence reassures parents, inspires students, and changes the story told around kitchen tables from one of dependence to one of possibility. Regional solidarity follows naturally when neighbors recognize a shared commitment to stability. When our defense choices emphasize transparency, joint training, and shared maintenance hubs, they invite collaboration rather than competition. Partners see that our aim is deterrence and resilience, not intimidation. Confidence-building measures, hotlines, shared exercises, disaster response protocols turn what could be a source of fear into a platform for cooperation. In that environment, a regional web of capability becomes a public good, pooled expertise, mutual support, and a deeper sense of mutual security. The symbolic value is powerful. A decision made here, with local industry and regional cooperation in mind, signals to the world that we will not outsource the core of our security. This message reverberates beyond borders. It encourages other nations to seek balanced partnerships, to demand transfers of knowledge, and to focus on sustainable capability rather than fleeting prestige. Symbolic acts, when matched with concrete programs, shift perceptions and create momentum for a new regional norm. Finally, pride and solidarity are practical. They sustain recruitment, civic support, and the political will necessary for long-term investment. When citizens feel their country stands tall on competence and cooperation, they are likelier to support budgets that build schools, clinics, and hangars alike. In that convergence of pride and policy, defense becomes a catalyst for development and a foundation for lasting peace. Let us therefore carry this pride responsibly, converting symbolism into institutions that outlast any single government or passing headline, and commitment. My friends, sovereignty is more than lines on a map or words in a constitution. It is the everyday power to choose who walks beside us and who dictates our steps. By choosing partners through respect, rather than succumbing to pressure, we affirmed a simple but profound truth. Our alliances must be built on equality, not on the leverage of favors or the threat of withdrawal. When a nation exercises this right, it says to the world that decisions about our security, economy, and future will be guided by mutual benefit, shared responsibilities, and dignity, not by who shouts the loudest or who writes the largest check. This message matters because partnerships shape destinies. When we accept terms dictated by outside powers, we risk trading away not only material advantage, but moral agency. Respectful partnerships, by contrast, invite technology transfer, knowledge sharing, and joint capacity building. They transform transactions into collaborations where our engineers learn side by side with partners, our industries grow, and our policy choices reflect national priorities rather than external calendars. That kind of partnership enlarges sovereignty rather than shrinking it. Choosing with respect also strengthens our bargaining power. It tells future partners we are not desperate customers, but equals who will insist on clear contracts, fair offsets, and transparent timelines. It signals that support must include after-sales care, training, and pathways to self-reliance. This posture discourages conditionality, dressed as friendship, and rewards those who propose genuine cooperation. Over time, such discernment attracts partners who prefer stable, honest relationships to transactional advantage. There is also a moral dimension. Partners chosen by respect are likelier to respect human rights, civilian oversight, and the rule of law. When relationships are rooted in shared standards, they reinforce domestic norms and create reciprocal expectations. They make it easier to pursue regional stability, joint humanitarian responses, and cooperative security arrangements that prioritize people over posturing. Finally, this decision teaches our children a lasting lesson about dignity. It demonstrates that sovereignty is exercised not only in grand speeches, but in the quiet determination to insist on fair terms, in the patience to build local capacity, and in the courage to diversify friendships. The right to choose partners on the basis of respect preserves our freedom to govern ourselves, to invest for our people, and to enter the world as confident, principled actors. Let us therefore protect this right jealously. Let us demand that every agreement reflect our values and serve our future. In doing so, we will not only secure our skies and borders, but also safeguard the very idea of a nation that stands tall because it chooses to stand with dignity.